Godzilla is now in New York City.
Monster 01 and 02, commence the attack.
Hello, listeners, and welcome back to Stomp This Way. How you doing today, Andrew?
I'm doing all right.
That's good. That's good. Are you excited about our movie this week?
Oh, yeah, you know it.
Yeah, we actually watched it last night, so it's been 24 hours. I've already forgot most of it.
And that is pretty sad.
We'll get over it. But no, sometimes it's good to record the day after. It gives you time to collect your thoughts, organize your opinions, forget some of the movie. You know.
In
all
Aaron's
that kind of
case, most of
Most of the thing. Yeah, anyway. We are reviewing The Golden Voyage of Sinbad. We had the 7th voyage. Now we've graduated to The Golden Voyage. We don't know how many voyages later this is.
No.
But anyway. You want some production trivia?
Sure.
Did you know that this is completely recast due to the time passage between films? I'm assuming that's the reason anyway.
How many years passed?
This was 15 years later. 15 years later. Chenier, the producer, was not a huge fan of John Philip Law, apparently. Did not like his performance. Said he was not athletic. So they had to cut around the action scenes more and use more stunt doubles. Was not a fan, apparently, of the affected Middle Eastern accent. But, what is. But they did cast Caroline Munro as the sex appeal. But it was a G-rated movie, so it was for G-rated sex appeal. Although, let me tell you, this movie would have definitely been PG at the very minimum today. Those tatas were barely covered. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. This was filmed in Spain, mostly in Madrid and on the island of Majorca. And it was filmed at the Royal Palace of La Almudena in Majorca. And the Temple of the Oracle bit was filmed in the caves of Arta. And they also shot scenes in the Torrent de Paris, a well-known canyon over there. Shot between June and August of 1972. Early Harryhausen drawings had a battle between a one-eyed centaur, which we'll talk about later, and a giant Neanderthal. But the Neanderthal was replaced by a griffin for the actual movie. Apparently, the Neanderthal will be recycled for Sinbad and the Eye of the Tiger. Join us next week for that. And, this movie received generally positive reviews, but it did win the first ever Saturn Award in the category of Best Fantasy Film. That was the first time, I guess, they had introduced that category. And it won. So, there's that.
Yeah.
Kind of strange, considering I didn't even know this movie existed until I started doing research for our schedule. Andrew, you want to read off some box office information?
A box office.
Box office, yes.
Well, you see, this movie was released on March 8th in 1974 with a budget of
$982,351. Very specific. That was what was listed.
Wow. Never seen such a specific number before. Made 11 million domestically. Made 16 million worldwide and sold 37.5 million tickets internationally, most in the Soviet Union.
Yeah, just a little tidbit there.
Colombia.
Apparently popular with the Russians.
Colombia did not see most of the money as they had sold their interest in their 1974 estate to the Bright Persky Association.
Associates, yeah. They apparently sold off their 74 slate of films to this Bright Persky Associates. So, I mean, they've sold a batch of movies for a flat amount, and then, they didn't see the profits on the back end. But hey,
This guy did.
yeah. So, a success. Got their budget back, 16 times over, I guess, not including marketing, I'm sure. But yeah. Yeah. Very modest budget for 1973, I would say.
A very specific
Budget. They counted it down to the last dollar. We were pinching pennies, baby. Pennies going away, by the way. Very sad. Very sad. Do you know I overheard today in line at Slim Chickens
Oh, no.
that apparently there's I did not verify this, but apparently the last 100 pennies minted have like an Omega symbol stamped on them or something or pressed into them. And if you can find one of those, apparently they're going for a lot of money online. So, but there's only like 100 of them. So, good luck.
Good luck.
But anyway, let's listen to the trailer. Hopefully, this is more of a trailer and less of an advertisement on. They didn't call it Dynamation in the credits. What do they call it? Dynarama or something? But an actual trailer for the movie. So, anyway, here's the trailer, and we'll see you on the other side.
See the sorcerer of the black arts, the gold helmet faceless vizier, the death fight of the centaur on the griffin, the six-armed goddess of evil. The flying homunculus. The savage siren on a rampage. The duel with the vanishing sorcerer. The one-eyed centaur. The oracle of all knowledge. The fountain of destiny.
Well, yeah, there it was. The trailer.
Just naming off random points in the movie.
Yeah, just name off. I like that trailer voice guy. I haven't heard that trailer voice guy. Anyway. Yeah. Cast and crew. This was directed by Gordon Hessler, written by Brian Clemens and Ray Harryhausen, music by Miklos Rosa, effects by Ray Harryhausen, and starring John Philip Law, Caroline Munro, and Tom Baker. The plot is as follows. After a flying creature drops an amulet onto Sinbad's ship, he begins to experience visions of a mysterious woman and a caped man. That same night, a storm drives his vessel toward the country of Moravia. Going ashore, Sinbad is confronted by Prince Cora, the man from his visions and a practitioner of dark magic. Escaping Cora, Sinbad reaches a nearby city and meets the Grand Vizier, who hides his burned face behind a golden mask. The Vizier explains that Sinbad's amulet is one piece of a puzzle leading to the Fountain of Destiny. Together, they plan an expedition to the lost continent of Lemuria, unaware that Cora's homunculus is spying on them. Soon after, Sinbad encounters the woman from his visions, Margiana? I don't remember. Whatever it was. Margiana, a slave. Her master offers her to Sinbad if he agrees to take his idol son Harun on the voyage. We'll talk about that later. Sinbad accepts, and the next morning he sets sail with his crew, joined by Margiana, Harun, and the Vizier. I'm probably saying all these names wrong. Cora and his servant Ahmed pursue them. One night, Cora animates the carved siren on Sinbad's bow to seal the map, but every spell he casts ages him dramatically. On Lemuria, the crew consults the Oracle of All Knowledge, who reveals where the remaining amulet pieces can be found. Cora again spies on them and traps Sinbad's crew in the Oracle's cave, but they manage to escape. Meanwhile, Cora and Ahmed are captured by island natives. Cora responds by animating their statue of Kali and forcing them into obedience. When Sinbad arrives, Cora commands Kali to kill them. After a fierce battle, Harun topples the statue, revealing the remaining amulet pieces inside. The natives seize Sinbad's crew while Cora escapes with the amulet. They attempt to sacrifice Margiana to a centaur, but Sinbad's group escapes and rescues her. At the fountain, a rejuvenated Cora summons the centaur to kill Sinbad, but a griffin intervenes. With Cora's aid, the centaur wins, only to be slain by Sinbad moments later. Cora then drops another piece of the amulet into the fountain to gain invisibility, but Sinbad still defeats and kills him. When the final piece is placed in the fountain, it produces a crown of riches, which Sinbad gives to the Vizier. The crown heals the Vizier's face, and the crew returns to the ship as credits roll. More or less?
Yes.
More or less, yeah. Well, the movie starts with Sinbad on a ship. A new Sinbad, not the same as last time. I mean, same character, but new actor.
Yeah.
And there's a weird clay animated figure flying overhead.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to figure out. So I'm guessing this, now we'll call it a homunculus. It's kind of funny. The first time I ever heard the term homunculus was in Full Metal Alchemist.
Yeah.
Anime. And they use that term over and over and over again.
Homunculus.
So my idea of a homunculus, I guess, is a lot different than this movie's idea of a homunculus.
Yeah.
I thought it was like some little gargoyle creature thing. But anyway, it drops the amulet on a ship. Where, I guess this thing had gotten it from somewhere.
Yeah.
And was returning it to Cora. But
well, at first, the reason it drops it because one of his crew shoots an arrow.
yeah,
at
his
it.
first mate like shoots maybe it wasn't his first mate, maybe
No.
it was the bald guy. His helmsman or whatever shoots the arrow and it drops it. Well, it was circling overhead like a dumb bird, so what I didn't think was gonna happen. But anyway, and it drops it. And Sinbad picks it up, even though his first mate's like, cast it overboard. It's bad luck. And Sinbad picks it up anyway. And
he decides to keep it and wear the necklace.
bad dreams ensue. And then he has a weird, trippy dream where that, like you heard in the trailer over and over, where Cora is saying, Sinbad, over and over. And he also sees the woman with the eye tattooed on her hand or whatever.
Yeah.
Belly dancing or something. And, I will say from the go, I have an issue with this portrayal of Sinbad, which is, the actor, whatever. Like, I'm not a big fan of his affected accent either. I don't think he's quite as charismatic as the actor last time.
No.
He's not terrible, though. He's fine. But Sinbad last time, like, he made some stupid decisions, like all people and most people in old movies do.
Mm-hmm.
But like he was always trying to do the right thing, and he was a heroic figure. In this movie, all their problems are caused by Sinbad.
Yeah.
I mean, if he would have just cast over the stupid amulet and then, or just ignored his weird, trippy dreams, they wouldn't have had any problems.
No.
This whole movie could have been avoided. And then I really don't understand later on why Sinbad is so gung ho to do all this, go on this journey. Like, it really doesn't matter to him. Like in the first movie, it mattered to him personally because his, like, he was ready to abandon like the whole island. He didn't give a crap, you know. He only cared about his crew, his country.
Yeah.
Until his girlfriend got shrunk, and then he had to go do something about it. I don't know. I just never really bought into why he was so invested in this journey.
It's the guy in the golden helmet, the whatever his
The Vizier.
The Vizier said he would destroy the world. Whatever.
Okay, and I'll get to that later. But I also have questions about why it's so important that they stop Korra. But so anyway, so Sinbad, they have the dream. A storm rolls in. It basically takes his ship close to this country, and he is so excited to get on shore. He just jumps overboard and swims.
Yeah.
And as soon as he gets on land, he is confronted by Korra. And Korra is a sorcerer. He's prince of something.
He's the dark prince.
The prince of darkness. Satan? I don't know. But prince of something. He's got a nice castle. Korra is one of my kind of issues with. I mean, he's fine, like the actor and everything, but like, I don't know. Like, I guess I'll just go ahead and say it. One of my other issues with this whole journey is like, we're told by the Vizier that it is absolutely imperative that they stop Korra. Like you said, I think at one point the Vizier implies that he will destroy the world or something. Like, we learned that he wants this amulet, this piece of jewelry that was dropped on Sinbad's ship is one piece of an amulet that was like broken into 3 pieces or something. And when you put it all together, it makes a map, and then you throw it into the Fountain of Destiny, and it gives you your wish. It gives you 3 things. So here's my problem.
Yeah.
If Korra, let's say Korra was to win and he got to the fountain, it would give him youth. It would give him invisibility. They call it a shield or something, but it's invisibility.
Shield of darkness or whatever.
And he would be rich. Like, is it really that important that they stop Korra? Is it really that important that they stop Korra from from getting to the Fountain of Destiny? Like, the guy wants to be young, he wants to be invisible, and he wants to be rich. I mean, okay. I mean, maybe the Vizier has a personal reason to want to stop him, because maybe he thinks the Korra will use the riches to build an army and invade Marabia or whatever. But I mean, to say that the world will end seemed a bit dramatic. You know, I don't know. And why Sinbad cares, again, I don't know. The last movie, Sinbad didn't really seem to care about other random people unless it involved saving his girlfriend. Why does he, who's not in this movie, by the way, apparently he didn't love her that much. So why does he care about that? I don't know. That is just kind of my basic fundamental issue with the whole journey. But anyway, you know, taking that for what it is, all that for what it is. He gets there, Korra like chases him around, and he runs to the city, and we see that Korra has some magic powers because the guards from the city are going to come out and get Korra, but Korra like makes some chant or something, and it causes the gates to fall or whatever, and he gets away. And then this is where we meet the Grand Vizier. And I really like the character design in this movie, particularly, you know, just like the last movie, it's got these big grand sets and shooting locations. And I love the wardrobe. And I do like the look of the Grand Vizier. He's got this golden mask on because, as we'll learn, that, you know, he was in this cave that he'll take Sinbad down into that like has the wall paintings of the legend of the Fountain of Destiny or whatever. Yeah. And I guess Korra like summoned some fireball that burned his face or whatever. But he's got this cool golden mask. I will say that I kept this whole movie up until like the last 5 minutes. I kept expecting the vizier to be the true villain, because like almost every other movie like this you'd watch, like when the guy comes up and he's got this weird golden mask on,
Yeah.
and he acts all friendly and tries to act all like holier than thou. That guy always ends up being the bad guy at the end of the movie. But no, I guess he's just a good guy.
He just wants to protect his country.
He just wants to save his country and get his face back. I mean, okay, whatever. This movie probably needed a plot twist, but he tells Sinbad about the legend and the blah, blah, blah. And they're gonna, Sinbad's like, yeah, I'll go help you find this thing. And of course the homunculus is snuck in, and Cora can hear through the homunculus or whatever. So he knows what they're doing. And they figure out that the thing's a map and blah, 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 blah. But I will say, so this is like getting towards the end of the first act, and I can already tell this movie's much more lumbering than the first movie. That first movie was a lean, mean 88 minutes, I think.
Yeah.
This movie is 105 minutes. And it's just taking longer for everything. Like that first movie, within like 5 minutes, we saw the Cyclops like chasing after somebody. This movie, it takes a while. They had the whole scene that goes on forever with the bird dropping the amulet or whatever. And then we have the thing with him going to the city and having the big exposition scene with the Grand Vizier and everything. And all these scenes that in the first movie, it feels like they would have cut a lot shorter and a lot quicker. Like they're just, they're just letting them kind of linger on. And I can already kind of feel like, this movie's going to be a little slow. But anyway, some other bizarre things that happen. This movie's just kind of riddled with weird plot holes and contrivances. He goes out on the town, I guess, and there's this guy following him around, and like they pulls him aside in an alley, and this guy, for reasons that are never really explained why he picked Sinbad out, I guess destiny, quote unquote, I don't know. He wants Sinbad for some random reason to take his lazy son with him on his voyage. And this guy also just so happens to be the slave master of the chick that he saw in his dream, Sinbad saw in his dreams, who he can recognize her because she has the eye tattooed on her hand, which again, never explained why she has an eye tattooed on her hand.
Well, it's because she's like what did they say in the cave? The sacrifice or whatever.
Well, they think she is a goddess or something. Yeah, they think she's something to be sacrificed because she has the eye on her hand. But I don't think that's why she has the eye on her hand. I think it was just kind of a coincidence. But whatever. It is what it is. Anyway, so he's like, and this guy is trying to pawn his son off hard on.
He's like,
I'll give you 200. Well, first he's like, I'll give you 200 gold coins to take my son. And then he's like, Sinbad's like, no. He's like, what about 300 gold coins? And then and then Sinbad recognizes the slave girl and everything. He's like, how about I give you the slave girl and 400 gold coins to take my son on your boat? I'm like, why is this guy pawning off his son so hard?
Well, because he's lazy, drunk, and doesn't do nothing.
Yeah, I guess it's still a little weird, but okay, whatever. And then also the Grand Vizier is gonna like just totally leave his country for a couple of years potentially. To go on this, because I guess the Vizier is like running the country because the king died with no heirs or something.
Yeah. And he gave him the secrets.
Yeah, he handed all the secrets down to the Grand Vizier. So it's kind of like in Lord of the Rings when what's his face was ruling over Gondor because the king had never returned. But anyway, off subject. Anyway, so let's get into the second act. The journey starts. The Vizier comes on board. Margiana or whatever her name was comes on board, and Haroun, who's going to be kind of the comedic relief character, for better or worse, comes on board. And they set sail. And close on their behind is Korra. He's apparently chartered a ship. He and Ahmed, his loyal servant. Every time they said Ahmed, I know it's a common Middle Eastern name, but I just think of Jeff Dunham's puppet, Ahmed. Ahmed, the undead terrorist or the dead terrorist or whatever it is. Anyway, sorry. Yeah, so then they're going, and then our first real, other than the homunculus, our first real like Harryhausen scene.
Yeah.
Is they're going and they're gonna Sinbad sees that he's being followed, so they're gonna go through like some shallow waters or something. And Korra's ship can't follow him, so he like uses a dark spell to bring the siren, the wood siren that's carved onto the bow of the ship.
Yeah.
To life, and it's gonna like come and like fight some people and get the map, I guess, that they're using to navigate.
That the vizier gave him.
Yeah, that the vizier gave him. And it's gonna take that and fall back into the water. And it's a fun little scene, I guess. And then I think this is the first time that we really see that every time Korra casts a magic spell, he like dramatically ages. So like, he gets to use dark magic, but it comes at a price. And Ahmed, his poor servant Ahmed, is like, "Master, why do you do this to yourself?" And
it has to be done.
It must be done. But anyway, and then we eventually get to the island, the Lost Continent, whatever it was. And they're going to go to this stone temple, the Temple of the Oracle or whatever. And they're going to, use there's like this weird old crone that leads them down to this, like stone table thing. And they use the amulet to like summon the Oracle, who's like this Krampus looking guy. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like a guy with his face painted black with like these goat horns on the side of his head or something. And it spits off some riddles that I couldn't really follow, and basically tell them they've got to, where the amulet might be, and also it's going to be a very dangerous journey.
Yeah.
And of course, once again, the homunculus is listening in, and then Korra like sets off some explosives and at the entrance and like totally blows up the cave, like the whole top of it collapses.
Whole thing.
And even though it doesn't look like it looks like the entrance was caved in, but that was it on the inside. But but there's still a hole up top. So Sinbad's going to like shoot an arrow up there with all their robes and stuff tied to it. And then they're going to like climb out. And turns out that Harun is like an expert marksman because the homunculus is like harassing Sinbad as he's climbing. And he just like hits this thing dead center. Harun, I think, is fine. He's, he kind of works as comedic relief, kind of like the innocent, like younger, younger man. And, he functions. He doesn't get on my nerves or anything.
He's there.
Much more useful than Margiana, who just kind of walks around with her boobs hanging out.
Acting distressed.
And has to be rescued at the end.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they climb out. Meanwhile, Korra has been taken hostage by the natives, but they have a statue of like the Hindu god Kali or whatever, the six-armed woman or whatever.
Yeah.
And he animates it. He loves animating statues. He animates it, and it comes to life and like basically subdues the natives into following Korra. Yeah. And he like goes on a rampage looking for this amulet, and then can't find it. Then Sinbad and his bunch walk in, and he tells Kali to kill Sinbad. And there's this big fight that ensues. But eventually, Harun, maybe the hero of the story, he gets the idea. Let me just push this thing off this cliff and shatter it because it's made out of stone, and it works. And the amulet is inside of it. Ooh. But then the natives come back in and they take Sinbad's,
see that their precious statue
is broken. And they take Sinbad's crew hostage, and then they see the eye on the woman's hand, and they sacrifice her to their centaur god or whatever. It's like a centaur cyclops hybrid thing. And it's kind of a King Kong moment. Like they throw her down there and it comes and grabs her and carries her off
Yeah.
while they chant from above. And then Korra leaves to go to the fountain, and he tells Ahmed to like F off to the ship or something. Poor Ahmed. I don't think Ahmed comes back into the movie after that. And
No.
then Sinbad and the others get away. They like, get away and get down to the where What's Her Face was thrown and go into the cave, and they rescue Margiana, and then they go to the Fountain of Destiny where Korra's already there. He's already cast one piece in. He was like literally dying as he was getting to the fountain, like trying to crawl the last few paces to the fountain, and he gets it in and gets his youth back.
Mm-hmm.
And then he, like as Sinbad rolls in, he summons the centaur. And for like absolutely no reason, there's also a griffin here that's like, and they like portray it like, oh, it's like the prophecy, the forces of good, which is like the centaur versus, or which is the griffin versus the forces of evil, which is the centaur.
The eternal struggle.
And I'm like, oh, this is weird, but whatever.
You've never mentioned that during the whole entire movie.
Yeah, I mean, I think maybe the Oracle said something about good versus evil, but yeah, the fact that a griffin kind of randomly shows up is a little weird.
Mm-hmm.
But okay. And anyway, so they fight, but then like Korra like cuts the griffin's like tendon or something in the back of his knee, and so then the centaur wins, but then Sinbad jumps on the back of the centaur and like stabs it to death.
Yeah.
And so then Korra throws the second piece in. I'm like, just throw all 3 pieces in, come on. But he throws the second piece in, and the shield of the shield of darkness,
cloak of darkness
or whatever it's just makes him invisible.
Yeah.
And like he's fighting, and
he's like, you can't hit what you can't see.
Can't hit what you can't see, even though you can see the sword. So
yeah,
not super helpful. And then the idiot, like Korra, total like idiot move. He's like, I'm gonna go stand in the fountain, and then immediately becomes visible. And
when you stand in water,
your outline's gonna still show. And Sinbad appropriately stabs him to death, and it turns into a blood fountain. And I guess the last piece falls in with him, and then
Sinbad throws the full thing in. At the end.
So Sinbad throws it in, and it produces a crown.
Yeah.
And he gives it to the Grand Vizier.
The crown of like untold riches.
Yeah. I honestly, like when that happened, I was like, okay, the Grand Vizier is gonna come up and like stab Sinbad from behind or something. But no, Sinbad is just like, here you go. And he puts it on his head, and we saw his face earlier. We'll talk about it in makeup effects, I guess. Pretty gnarly. And he puts it on his head and returns his face to normal.
Yeah.
And then they go back to the ship, and he's making moves on Margiana, Sinbad is, and that's the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. What'd you think?
It was all right.
Yeah. Like I said, it's much more plotting than the first movie. Goes on probably 20 minutes longer than it needed to. I think a lot of scenes could have been trimmed down. A lot of plot contrivances and stuff. I'm just like, what? Why?
I think the plotting was a little bit better in the first one, honestly.
Yeah, and just by being shorter, it avoided a lot of these pitfalls. But there's things I liked. I think it was still a lot of fun fantasy adventure stuff. I liked all the creatures and stuff. I liked, like I said, the Grand Vizier, just like from a character design standpoint, kind of cool. The acting, like I said, Sinbad, I'm not as big fan of Law as I was the other guy, but he's fine. The chick playing Margiana, she's hot. I mean, I guess that's all. That was the only qualification there. Yeah. The guy playing Haroon, I think he's fine. He works well enough as the comedic relief, I guess. I would say last time, the real highlight of the movie was the guy playing Sakura. And this time, I don't think the guy playing Korra, not to be confused, Tom Baker, is quite I still think Tom Baker is probably the most entertaining actor in this movie, but he's not as good as what was his name in the last one? Tom Thatcher or whatever it was. That guy like was really charismatic, was really chewing up the scenery. You know, Tom Baker is a little more of kind of your classic villain, fantasy character villain. You know, I like his outfit and everything.
Some of the facial expressions he does.
And then the old age makeup and stuff is pretty nice, but he's not quite as charismatic as the other guy.
No.
But yeah, like it's still a fine fantasy
It's
adventure.
fine.
But yeah. Creature design.
Ooh.
What do we got? We got the homunculus.
He's just a little.
He's like I said, a little gargoyle looking thing.
He's just a little guy.
Yeah, and he got little wings and stuff, little flying lizard thing.
Flying wings.
He's fine. We got the siren, the wooden siren.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty neat. Like the siren, like pries herself off the front of the ship and gets them. Pretty neat. We have Kali, the animated statue of Kali. I mean, you know, it is what it is. I thought it was very impressive. You know, they have to stop motion and animate all 6 of those arms, and it is weird. Like when she goes to pull out the swords, like one of them gets thrown to her. Maybe 2 of them get thrown to her, and then the other hands. I was thinking of the fight with General Grievous the whole time, where Grievous pulled out the 4 arms and was fighting Obi-Wan. But yeah, ching ching. But it was funny too because like she has the 2 swords. But then her other 4 hands just like produce swords like out of nowhere.
They like appear.
Yeah, they just like appear, and it's just like a lightsaber. But anyway, that was funny. But no, I thought she was cool, and I will talk about it. But I thought the fight was really cool. And then we've got the centaur, the one-eyed centaurs. Like I said, a Cyclops centaur hybrid. It's kind of neat looking.
That's neat.
I thought it was pretty fun. Kind of got the beast Cyclops head, you know, upper body, and then the horse head, lower body, obviously. The griffin, which is a griffin, it's like a bird with a falcon with 4 legs and wings. You know, you've seen a griffin before. Pretty standard.
It's just like what Harry Potter had.
Yeah, sort of. Or if you remember Latitude Zero, where the lion got turned into the griffin.
Anyway,
so I thought the creatures in this were fine. I thought they worked.
Serviceable.
I maybe wish there were more screen time or earlier screen time for them, but and then effects overall. Listen, I still think, you know, this is 15 years later, kind of getting towards the end of the stop motion kind of, you know, era. I think that his stop motion effects hold up pretty well for this movie. There are times, like especially like in that first scene where the homunculus, when they're trying to integrate the live action stuff with the homunculus, and it just feels a little awkward and doesn't quite mesh right. I don't think just the way they filmed it and edited it. But overall, I thought the stop motion effects held up pretty well, and I think even like the little human dolls they have that they animate, like when Sinbad is stabbing the centaur, or when somebody gets picked up by something, I think those look pretty good. And when other times they could look pretty rough. You know, again, like I said about the last movie, they have some beautiful on location filming on this movie. So big props for that. I think the sets all look really good. The ship, and then the set for like the top of the ship that they use, all really well done. And this is a very modest budget, less than $1 million for them to pull off all this. Very modest budget for the time. I mean, maybe in the 50s it'd have been a big budget, but by the time the 70s rolled around, this was a pretty modest budget. So the fact that it looked as good as it did, I think, is a real testament to Ray Harryhausen and his ingenuity. Again, wardrobes and all that I thought looked really cool, and the golden helmet. I was a big fan of the golden helmet on the Vizier. It was a good
little design.
So I liked all that. And then score, not as good as Bernard Herrmann's score,
but you know, it's serviceable.
It's serviceable. It works for this fantasy type movie. But yeah. Final thoughts. Go for it.
Well, like we said, this movie's all right. You know, it could be a lot worse.
It could be.
It could be, but you know, it's like we've said before. Like I said, it's serviceable. You know, it's fine. It has the cast is okay. They do what they're supposed to do, you know. I think, you know, like we said, Sinbad's not the person that plays Sinbad in this one is not as good as the other guy, but he's still, decent. He's still good enough to get you through the movie.
Yeah.
And the score is all right. It's not terrible. It's not like, I don't think, like you said, it's as good as the first one was, but this one, it's all right.
Yeah.
And the effects are good, as always. Harryhausen know how to do some effects.
Yeah. Yeah, he does.
And, the creatures are cool, as always. Stop motion.
Yeah.
A hard thing to do.
Yeah.
Takes a long time.
Yeah. I just want to really emphasize, I don't think I did. I thought that the fight with Kali was really impressive, and the way they had all of them sword fighting with her, and the 6 arms going, and the way that they integrated it to make it look like, they weren't just swinging their swords in random directions.
Yeah.
The human actors. Really good job. Good props to Harryhausen. That was a good scene.
Hey, I think I'll give this movie. I'll give it a B minus.
All right. Yeah. Listen, when I had heard of the 7th Voyage of Sinbad, but I had no idea that they had any sequels until I started doing research for a schedule, and I was looking at doing the 7th Voyage of Sinbad. And when I first saw that it was a movie, a sequel to kind of a moderate late 50s hit, or a moderate hit of a late 50s movie, coming 15 years later on a modest budget. I was like, totally recast, kind of towards the end of Harryhausen's heyday. We were getting closer to Clash of Titans, which was kind of I thought this is going to be terrible, but to my surprise, it is a pretty competent movie, which is, I think, is a lot more than I was expecting. Yes, it is a step down from the first movie. It's longer, more meandering. There's a lot of plot contrivances, and things that's never really explained. Like, why is this guy pawning his son off on Sinbad? Isn't it nice that he also conveniently owns the slave girl that Sinbad needs?
It's faked.
it's the Grand Vizier. Why is Sinbad so gung ho to go on this journey? Why is it so important that they stop Cora? I mean, it's just some things that just don't gel for me in this movie, but it's still a pretty fun early 70s fantasy adventure. Like you said, Harryhausen's effects, I think, are still pretty good quality in this movie. I think they've got some beautiful on-location filming and all of that, some beautiful sets. The fact that they were able to do all that on a budget of less than $1 million is pretty impressive. The creatures, I love the creatures. I love like I said, the fight scene with Kali is a real highlight of this movie, and I think should be more popular, more famous than it is. So yeah, and the Grand Vizier, I love his golden helmet and his character design and all that. So yeah, I think if you're a fan of this kind of genre of movies, I think it's worth checking out. I'll give it like a C+, because it did kind of wander on past its entertaining time lot, but no, I think it's still a nice little fantasy adventure. So yeah, but we got one more.
Yeah.
No, this one's Sinbad and the Eye of the Tiger. So not related to the song.
No.
But is it a Survivor song? I think it's a Survivor song.
Yeah.
As far as news goes, not much. I did see where Ultraman Rising was nominated for Outstanding Animated Special at the Children and Families Emmy Awards.
Wow.
Which I thought, didn't that movie come out like 2 years ago? I guess they're just now getting to that. So I guess it's I think it came out early 2024, and we're late 2025, and they're just now holding the Emmys, I guess, for Children and Family Emmys for 2024. I don't know, but anyway. So yeah.
Are they gonna be a year behind forever now?
I don't know, but so there's that. I did finally actually sit down and watch the date reveal little teaser trailer for Monster. What is it? Legacy of Monsters, Monster Monarch. Monarch season 2.
You had me confused there.
It's a neat little thing. It's like starts with like found footage where people are on this beach or something and get attacked by little monsters, and then some shots of King Kong. No shots of Godzilla. His roar is at the end though. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see where it goes. I'm sure it comes in February. I renewed. I had to go and look because I had my credit card had expired and I got a new one. And every time you do that, you got to go through and update all your subscriptions and blah, blah, blah. Well, I didn't go and update the Apple one, and my subscription had lapsed, and then I couldn't remember my Apple ID. And so I let it go for a few months, but I finally sat down and figured it all out last night and renewed my subscription. Cause, I don't watch anything on Apple except I only got it for the Monarch show. But my brother Adam and my dad siphon off my Apple account, so that's okay. But I guess I've siphoned off my parents long enough. I can let them use my Apple TV account. Anyway,
Adam just wants it for Ted Lasso.
Yeah, he just likes Ted Lasso. Maybe I need to watch Ted Lasso. I don't know. But anyway, what was I saying? Schedule wise, we're coming up towards the end of the year. Obviously, we've got one more Sinbad movie. And then in some order, I don't remember, we've got Ultraman. What was that last Ultraman show we watched? Ultraman. We're watching Ultraman Omega. It was the one before that. Ultraman Arc. Ultraman Arc, the movie. I've got the Blu-ray set came in. We'll be watching that soon before the end of the year. Troll 2 will be coming to Netflix. We'll be watching that soon. And Anaconda will be our final review of the year, I believe. That's coming out on Christmas, and I think will be our last come out. The podcast is scheduled to come out like the last day of the week of the year or something. So that I think will be our final 4 episodes of the year for the last month of the year. So look forward to all of that.
Yeah.
Anything else, Andrew?
Oh, yeah, no.
Oh, and then now there will also be an episode over Kaiju number 8, season 2 conclusion. So we got 5 more episodes coming out. So all that's coming up. And then towards the beginning of the year, we'll do a recap on Omega as it concludes. We got some other stuff coming out. But other than that, don't forget that you can always contact us at stompthisway1954@gmail.com.
You can find our website at www.stompthisway.wordpress.com.
That's right. And we're also on Facebook at Stomp This Way. So check that out. But again, Sinbad and the Eye of the Tiger. And as always, I'm Aaron.
I'm Andrew.
And we will see you next time.